Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel. This is a show where we go behind the headlines of stories hitting the marquee in domestic politics. I'm Nistula Heppa, who is hosting the show for you and is also the political editor of The Hindu. This week, it's all about Uttar Pradesh and the public airing of grievances within the BJP there after the party's fall from 61 Lok Sabha seats in the 2019 elections to 33 seats this time around. This fall in the number there in Uttar Pradesh is partly one of the biggest reasons actually for the BJP losing a single party majority status in the Lok Sabha after a decade or so. So let's get to exactly what happened. So the day was 14 July, a Sunday, and the Uttar Pradesh BJP was holding its state executive meet, which has been going on state by state, the state executive meets for various units of the BJP, and it was Uttar Pradesh's turn on Sunday, July 14th, and the party's national president and Union Health Minister JP Nadda was also present at the meeting. He also addressed the executive there, but things soon escalated in the presence of Mr. Nadda. During their respective speeches to the gathering, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and Keshav Maurya put across conflicting and antagonistic points of view on the state of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh and what they felt were the reasons for the party's below par performance in that state. Yogi Adityanath blamed overconfidence, Ati Atmavishwas, for the poor show of the party in Uttar Pradesh. He also alluded to repeating of unpopular candidates as one of the contributing reasons for this. His Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Keshav Prasad Maurya, who had been party president much earlier, on the other hand, reminded the Chief Minister, to much applause from the gathered crowd, that the party organization was the force behind the government and not vice versa. He said this even in his ex post a couple of days later. Now, he alluded, by saying this, he was alluding to what he termed the alienation of the BJP's workers, leaders, and MLAs from the state administration, leaving a divided house. He basically kind of articulated the party rank and file's mood that the state, the chief minister depended too much on the bureaucrats surrounding him rather than his own party members, and that the political machinery of the BJP was not being involved in issues that were affecting the people in the state, which was unfair according to them because they were representing the people in large numbers in the state assembly. Now, all these remarks made at the BJP state executive meet have, as I said before, brought Mr. Adityanath and Mr. Maurya face to face in antagonism. But Mr. Maurya seems to be getting a lot of backing from Delhi as well. Soon after this state executive meeting on Tuesday night, a long meeting was held between BJP National President Mr. Nadda, Uttar Pradesh BJP Chief Bhupendra Chaudhary, and Keshav Prasad Maurya. Now, sources present at the meeting said that both leaders from Uttar Pradesh complained about the working methods of the Chief Minister, who they said, and as I mentioned before, depended more on his bureaucrats than party workers, MLAs, and leaders. The leaders also pointed out that this alienation of the local BJP workers from the government and the high-handed attitude of the local administration had cost the party too many seats in the Lok Sabha election. So there were those who said that these issues were also present in the 2022 assembly elections, and it's true because I traveled during that election and this was something that I felt had happened, but the party organization at that time had gotten together and kind of wooed back and put a concerted effort in wooing back party workers, alienated party workers. That hasn't happened this time, obviously pointing to the fact that there was no one big reason for this alienation. There had to be a complex of reasons for that. Now, the national leadership basically heard all these leaders out, but pointed out that there were by-elections looming for 10 assembly seats vacated for various reasons, including some MLAs like Samajwadi Party leader Akhilesh Yadav being elected to the Lok Sabha, and they're going to be held next month, and therefore no changes at the top, either at the party level or at the government level, could be contemplated in the run-up to these by-elections. Sources also said that following Mr. Adityanath's remarks about overconfidence and repeating of unpopular candidates that were aimed at the national leadership, the Chief Minister would be given a free hand in these by-elections to see what he could come up with. Now, Bhupendra Chaudhary subsequently met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, and is reported to have been advised, quite rightly, by Prime Minister Modi to create a synergy between the party and the government. The alienation of Rajput voters who took umbrage at what they termed was the sidelining of Yogi Adityanath, who was called Ajay Bish before he took orders as a monk and belongs to the Rajput community. So the Rajputs have a feeling of ownership with regard to Mr. Adityanath. Now, these voters felt that Yogi Adityanath was being sidelined by the Delhi leadership in terms of all the decisions with regard to campaign, candidate selection, etc., decision on seats, all these issues that are important in an election, that Yogi Adityanath was kept separate from it. And perhaps as a backlash, I don't know about that, but interestingly, Union Minister Anupriya Patel recently set off a controversy by writing to Mr. Adityanath on the state government's tardiness in filling up the quotas for the other backward classes in state government jobs with suitable candidates. These quotas were going a-begging. And she represents the OBC Kurmi community, which has a sizable presence in the state and was part of the BJP's Rainbow Alliance of non-Yadav OBCs in several elections. And she's also an NDA partner, and as I said, she's a union minister. Sanjay Nishad, who's a minister in Yogi Adityanath's government, and he belongs to the backward Nishad community, also said that the overbearing behavior of the state administration had alienated the poor and backward sections. He basically alluded to the bulldozer politics of basically raining down collective punishment through bulldozing people's houses if they're accused of some crime. And he said, if we uproot the poor, he will uproot us in the polls, because obviously there is collective punishment is never a good thing, and due process should also be respected. Now, all of this has also created, apart from the individuals fighting for individual ambitions and their own ideological reasons, this has also created a Rajput versus OBC angle to the whole issue, and the face-off between Mr. Adityanath and Mr. Maurya, who's also a non-Yadav OBC. Mr. Adityanath's supporters, or Yogi Adityanath's supporters, are no pushovers, however, and they have been reiterating that the complacency among BJP workers and running the whole election from Delhi, not changing candidates, sidelining of a popular chief minister had a cost. They basically said that Yogi Adityanath had not decided the tickets, and therefore the blame for losing all these seats cannot be put on him. The unique position of Yogi Adityanath has also weighed in on those things. Now, what unique position, you might ask? Well, he is the leader of the Nath Sampradaya Mutt in Gorakhpur, having reached political importance through the Mutt, and his guru Mahanta Vaidyanath, who was MP from Gorakhpur before him, and they were hugely involved in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement from much before the BJP was even thought of. And he hasn't had an organic growth within the BJP via the RSS, which is the route most BJP leaders take. They join the RSS, then they are in RSS frontal organizations, and at some point of time, if they are interested in electoral politics, they go to the BJP. Yogi Adityanath hasn't had that journey. He became a monk, and then he contested election. And he has his own backing, and what he terms the now defunct organization. Now, he says it's defunct, the Hindu Yuva Vahini, as well, and it's quite a separate entity from the BJP. So he is an adjunct to the power structure within the BJP in any which way you look at it, and therefore it gives the situation for the UP BJP an added piquancy. All these angst-ridden issues have, however, been put on the shelf by the leadership, as I said, for the upcoming by-polls to 10 assembly seats in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. But it is very clear that this is not bringing an end to the matter within the BJP. In India's most politically significant state, both sides, it is very, very obvious, are consolidating their support base and unwilling to cede an inch. We leave the story here. Obviously, we'll return to it perhaps after the by-polls to 10 assembly seats are over. But I will see you next week with another subject, another story making the headlines in domestic politics. Thank you so much for watching.